father is on the ground and you say salamun alaykum to him while he's on a horse, while you're on the horse? Our scholars without a doubt have a difference of opinion on the narration. Yet the point we're trying to bring across is what? Is that within the corpus of narration there was the idea that even though Nabi Yusuf has done nothing haram, it's not haram to say salamu alaykum to your father when you're on a horse and your father's on the ground. But the idea of respect, that you would never have been a king were it not for your father's blessings, were it not for your father's supplications. And now that you think you've become something, you sit on top of a horse while your father stands on the ground. And do not think that this doesn't affect our communities as well. There are some of us now that we've achieved something, when our father says salamu alaykum to us, or when he walks into a room, nobody stands up. His own sons are sitting in the room. And I've seen this in this community especially, that you'll find a father may walk into the room, the sons are sitting down, salamu alaykum, stand up for the man. If it wasn't for that man, you wouldn't even be worth talking about. That man is the whole reason you are achieving anything, or that you are worth even contemplating and discussing. Your father walks into a gathering or into your house, and you're sitting there saying assalamu alaikum to him. The first duty is to stand up. The second is to go towards him and to acknowledge him in a way of a hug or a way of a kiss. This is the true essence of Risalat al-Huquq. When you see your father, when you see something inside yourself you're proud of, no, it's because of your father and nobody else. And that's why the Quran says about us that when our parents grow older, that's the test of when you really acknowledge whether it's because of their blessings you are what you are. Why? Because the Quran says, فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Do not say uffin to them. Uff, in our language in the 21st century, do not tut. Because some of us, now that our fathers have become old, their senses aren't as sharp as they used to be, true? Their movements aren't as sharp as they used to be. Therefore, you'll find some of us who get angry quickly. I told him to hurry up. Why does he take so long? I told him to put this down. Why does he take so long? I told him to come and collect me. Why is he so late? Do you forget the days when he was healthy and he'd be there early while you were late? Now when he's late, you get angry. Do you forget about those days when he'd be waiting minutes after minutes, 10, 15, where are you? On the way. Where are you? On the way. Until you come walking in. I'm sorry, my father. Now when he says sorry, you lose your temper with him? When the Quran comes and says فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ, what does it mean? It means he is your essence. He is your root. Whenever you see something inside you you are proud of, no, it's because of him. And I tell you, when a son recognizes who his root is, and when a son recognizes that it's because of that man that I am what I am, that son will say, I'll lose my life for the sake of my father's cause. You see Hujr bin Adi. Those of you who've been to Sham would have gone towards his grave. And they say that make sure you go and visit Hujr if you're going to visit Sayyida Zainab. Hujr bin Adi, do you know who was the governor in his time? Mughira ibn Shu'bah. Mughira ibn Shu'bah was governor of Kufa in his time. They instituted a particular statement. What was it? Cursing Ali ibn Abi Talib at the beginning of every Friday prayer. You know how they would begin? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. May God curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. And they'd continue. This continued an institution beginning with Muawiyah and continued for a period of time until the man who ended it, I will come to in a second. Mughira bin Shu'bah would begin his Friday khutbah like that. Hujr would sit down in the khutbah. He'd listen and he'd listen, then he'd stand up. Why are you cursing Abu Turab? Why are you cursing Amir al-Mu'mineen? Mughira would be silenced. Mughira would continue until when Mughira moved away, Ziyad, son of his father, became governor. The irony of the Islamic State, that we have people like this becoming governors. Not knowing who their dad is, then they become governors of the state. When he became governor, again he'd begin the khutbah, may God curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. And so he would say this, and then afterwards he'd continue. Ziyad's khutbah would go extra long. They'd even not have time to pray. There would be no salah. I want to keep talking and abusing and talking and abusing. Hujr and his companions stood up. They said to him, what do you think you're doing? Cursing the man who saved this religion. The man who was the successor to the Prophet of this religion. The man who was the son-in-law of the Prophet. Ziyad wrote a letter to Muawiyah. He said to Muawiyah, Hujr and his companions have blasphemed against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did they blaspheme? All they said is, why are you cursing Ali ibn Abi Talib? Muawiyah wrote a letter back. He said, bring them all towards me, and we will see how we'll deal with them. They were brought towards Marj Adra. Marj Adra is that area where they are buried today. Do you know that area was conquered by Hujr bin Adi? The first person to say Allahu Akbar with a flag when they conquered Marj Adra between that area of Syria was Hujr. And subhanallah, his execution was there. They were taken towards that area. The first person they questioned was Abdullah ibn Hassan al-Anzi. Abdullah ibn Hassan al-Anzi used to admire Ali ibn Abi Talib. And there was not a single way that you could abuse Ali ibn Abi Talib in front of him. They said to him, do you take back your statement about Amir al-Mu'mineen Muawiyah? He said, no, I don't. Muawiyah wrote to Ziyad. He said, kill him in whichever way you want to kill him. It's up to you. Do you know how they killed him? They buried him alive. They laid him on the ground, then they buried him alive. The others, they remained over there. Muawiyah and his soldiers were present there. They came forward. The soldiers said to Hujr, what are your final wishes before we kill you? Hujr said, my first wish is let me pray 2 rak'ah of salah. Then my next wish is what? My next wish is that I want you not to remove these chains from me. Nor do I want you to remove the blood of the torture that you've given me. I want to meet Allah saying that Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan treated me like this. What's your third wish? He said, my third wish is that son of mine in front of me. Kill him. I said to him, what do you mean kill him? He said, kill him, that son, kill him. He said, but he's your son. Your final wish before we kill you is to kill him? He said, kill my son first. That's my wish. When a son knows that his dad is the reason for his blessings, he's willing to give away his life for Allah and for his dad. Because he knows very well that this dad is the root of everything that I've achieved. They looked at the son said, kill me, it doesn't matter. They came, they executed the son in front of the father. Hujr then looked at the soldiers and he said, now I am ready to die. They said to him, why? He said, I had a fear about that son, that after I die, he may leave the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib and go towards the love of your commander. But now that I've seen him die with the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib, I am ready to die as well. You see how the root is there. That there's a root and there's a pride that my father's the reason I am blessed, nobody else. Without my father's supplications, I would not be. That's why the third question that arises in the analysis is, what if our father's not religious? Does that mean we obey them or no? Because the right of the father is that he's your root, but he's not religious. Does that mean that I obey my father? No. If your father asks you to perform an act which brings about disobedience of Allah, you must disobey your father. Because there are some people who come forward and say, you know, I'm not religious because of dad. Like there's a wedding in the summer, and you know, I know it's haram for me to sit in that type of gathering where more flesh can be seen than in a public of a different religion. But, you know, it's because of my father that I have to be going to this gathering. And, you know, my father said to me that if I don't go, the cousins will be angry. Disobey him. Disobey him. Say to him, no, I won't go. He's your father. Yes, without a doubt. And he's your root, without a doubt. But you only obey him when he brings you towards obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to a challenge between him and the sharia of Allah, you only obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because you can come to your father and you disobey him with akhlaq, not with rudeness. When you come to him, you say, Dad, you're telling me you're encouraging me to go towards an act which is forbidden. You are my father. I respect you in every area, except when you go against the sharia. The sharia, I have to go with what Rasulullah has brought towards me. Because that excuse that I am not religious because I have to obey my father, that's a fickle excuse. It has no place in the religion of Islam. Do you know why? Because history has shown us many sons whose fathers were not religious, but they died with the love of Ahlul Bayt. Because their father was their root, they didn't deny it. They accepted, my father is my root. What I have achieved is because of him. But when it comes to choosing between dad and the school of Al Muhammad, only the school of Al Muhammad comes out. Let's look at a few of them. The first person who recognized his root, but stayed with Al Muhammad, Muawiyah, the son of Yazid. Yazid had a son called Muawiyah. He named him after his father. This Muawiyah, when Yazid died, he became Khalifa. when he became Khalifa.